Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. I hope you're doing well, mate. I really do hope that. Welcome to your match preview of the semi-final second leg, Chelsea versus Middlesbrough. At home. Huge game, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. A make or break game, potentially, certainly the biggest game of the season so far. It can go both ways, can't it? A monumental, historic embarrassment or a very good achievement. Pochettino's first 6 months in charge gets to a cup final at Wembley. Chelsea haven't won silverware in a while now. Really, really good or potentially incredibly bad. We've got updates on people who can and can't feature in this game. We can talk about who's going to play and how it could go and what it would mean to win or lose. Anyway, thank you for joining me here today. Please do consider supporting the content, only if you want to, but if you choose to do so, like and subscribe. If you subscribe, hit the bell notifications icon. That would be really nice. Thank you very much. And yes, you're welcome to follow me on Instagram at FootballYannick. Alright, enough housework. Let's get into it. First of all, let's take a look at the injury list that Chelsea published on their website. Nkunku, Rob Sanchez, Nkunku, frustratingly, Lavia, frustratingly, Reece James, Wes Fofana, and Cucurella are all continuing to undergo their rehabilitation program, being injured. Interestingly, Trevoh Chalobah is now in group training for reconditioning. Really, the most frustrating out of all that is Christopher Nkunku. Of course, he was pictured in training recently, and Chelsea fans were thinking, oh, maybe he's okay, but the truth is, he hasn't trained for a long time, and it's really frustrating. Look, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but of course the chief medical guy at Chelsea's recently stepped down for personal reasons, not for underperformance reasons, but Chelsea are really concerned, or should I say Chelsea fans certainly are really concerned with these recurring injuries. It's like, I know it's so lame to say, and most football fans feel like this, but it's like our club is cursed. You know, we sign players, they get injured. You know, like Nkunku and Lavia, they just haven't featured for us this season. Dude, we're at the end, like pushing the end of January, and we just don't know what these players are like in the team. Leslie Ugochukwu looked like a player that could feature and help us. Out injured loads. You know, I'm not overly surprised to see Ben Chilwell and Reece James out, because we're used to that now. You know, they won the Champions League for us. They look like the best pair of fullbacks / wingbacks in the world. And that's not an exaggeration or hyperbole. They just looked the best. But we got used to not having them. These guys just, you know, don't have legs anymore. But all these other players just coming in, getting injured, coming in, getting injured. Like, what is happening? Granted, yes, again, like I said last time, it would be remiss of me not to mention how all clubs have had an increase of injury. But this is a long-term theme with Chelsea, and it's just, we're still top of the tree, and it's constant. What are we doing wrong? How can we sort this out? Very, very frustrating indeed. Not listed on the injury list, but Nizar Kinsella confirms that Malo Gusto, rather frustratingly, will not be available for this game tomorrow night at Stamford Bridge as well, which really peeved me off because he's been one of our better performers of late, and of course Ben Chilwell's seemingly just about returning, but Gusto was our only fit fullback playing on both sides, and of course we've seen loads of centre-backs playing out wide in Colwill and Disasi. Frustrating again, bro. Still, this is a massive game, ladies and gentlemen. Just a quick word on Middlesbrough. Since they defeated us at home in the first leg in this tie, they went on to go and beat Millwall 3-1, but they've only played one game since then, and it was a 1-1 draw against 20th place Rotherham in the league. Now, they were at home as well, and they required an equaliser in the final 10 minutes, which is a really bad look for Middlesbrough. Michael Carrick has done a pretty darn good job there. They are a middling side in the Championship, but by all accounts, he's doing a good job. You know, everything considered in context. Certainly very good to beat Chelsea in the first leg of this tie. Like us though, they're suffering loads and loads of injuries. It is a recurring theme around the world of football at the moment. There will be heavy outsiders to get a result at Stamford Bridge. But you know what we're like, ladies and gentlemen? We're the architects of our own downfall. Now, in a second, I'm going to show you a lineup that I've built for this game. Afterwards, we can talk about how the game goes and the ramifications of winning and even losing this game, where that could leave us in the season, because that could be a serious headline maker. So let's hop over and look at the lineup now that I've built for y'all. Okay, here's my lineup, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going for a 4-3-3/4-2-3-1 formation. Of course, it's a kind of hybrid formation in terms of that three-man midfield from Mauricio Pochettino. Gallagher often occupying the right flank and Fernandes on the left, if you look at their respective heat maps throughout the game. Petrovic will most certainly be in goal. We're, of course, waiting for Rob Sanchez to return from injury, but he will have quite the task to get back into the first team over Petrovic, who really could play the rest of the games for the rest of the season. Now, of course, we don't have a fit right back. Gusto will not be available, confirms Nizar Kinsella, and Reece James is out. We might see Axel Disasi there, but I'm going to go with Alfie Gilchrist, who's been used as a closer of late, playing in the right-back position. Of course, this is a cup game. He looks fit and firing. He makes clearances, and I think maybe this could do bits here. Of course, it could be Axel Disasi. Despite being a big lump, Disasi, he actually gets forward quite well in some situations. But despite that, I think Pochettino's going to trust Alfie to start, maybe play 60 minutes at right back, and then I'm going for Disasi at right centre back, Thiago Silva at left centre back, and I'm actually going to go with Ben Chilwell as a starting left back. If we've got a fit fullback, we need to go for it, ladies and gentlemen. We need some dynamism. We need that attacking threat from wide defenders, and you just simply don't get it anywhere near as much with Levi Colwill than Ben Chilwell. So what I would like to do is start Ben Chilwell, try and get 60 minutes out of him. Hopefully, touch wood, fingers crossed, we're ahead by then, and then you can bring on a Levi Colwill to play at left back and maybe close out the game. The midfield picks itself, especially in a must-win game like this. Caicedo anchoring at the midfield, flanked by Enzo Fernandez and Conor Gallagher. It will be up to these midfield three to get as creative as possible. Of course, there's not really much, well, there's no goals in them, and there's very little creativity in terms of assists, so they'll be looking to up their game against a low block of Middlesbrough. In this instance, first name on the team sheet, of course, will be Cole Palmer, who I think will be starting on the right wing. I do think Sterling will be starting on the left wing over Mudryk, especially if Chilwell's playing behind him and not Levi Colwill. If Mudryk starts, it will be Colwill in behind, but I want a little bit more dynamism from that left flank, so I want Chilwell and Sterling, and Breuer starts up front. Now, we could also see more of a conventional 4-3-3 formation with Cole Palmer in the number 10, Noni Madueke as a right winger, and of course, Sterling or Mudryk on the left with Breuer up top. Of course, at some point in the game as well, you may see Cole Palmer go into the striker position, which we have seen Pochettino try out a couple of times recently. Now, of course, Carney Chukwuemeka is returning from injury, though I don't think he'll start this game, but he's the kind of player that you could see feature in this game. Frustratingly, Cesare Castell is cup-tied in both the League Cup and the FA Cup from playing with Leicester this season, so he can't contribute in games like this, where actually I think he would be a useful asset off the bench as this sort of aerial threat and, likes to try and score goals and stuff. So that's a little bit frustrating, but you got to take it on the chin. He will just be utilised probably as a substitute in the Premier League. That's the way I see it moving forwards. But I feel like they were going to just defend Middlesbrough. I don't want to just start in a 4-2-3-1. I feel like Chelsea should start in with a 4-3-3 and try and control the midfield and keep calm and just sort of assess the game. Because if we go a goal down early, I feel like Stamford Bridge could get worried, and then you're 2-0 down to a team who's just going to defend for their lives, and you're suddenly in a whole world of trouble. But I think Ben Chilwell could be massive. I think Carney Chukwuemeka off the bench could be big as well. Cole Palmer will not have another day out like he did in the first leg away at Borough at the Riverside when he missed 3 sitters. Probably could have scored 3 or 4 goals. That won't happen again. He's already shown how he can bounce back in terms of not letting these moments affect him mentally. So I'm going to predict a Chelsea win in this game at Stamford Bridge. I'm going to say Chelsea will win 3-1, of course, and then that gives us the 2-goal cushion we need to advance on aggregates, taking us into the final at Wembley. Now, that will be massive, of course. Yes, it's the League Cup. It's not the sexiest of all trophies, but Pochettino hasn't won a trophy in England between Southampton, understandably, and Tottenham. When his Tottenham team towards the end were, I don't want to say Galactico, but they were good. They're good players. They were, always giving really good performances against top teams. They've, of course, reached a Champions League final, and thank goodness Tottenham didn't win a Champions League. But this would be big for him personally, I think. Just get that monkey off his back. He's, regarded as one of the best coaches in Europe, hence getting the job at PSG. Man United were chasing him for ages. Real Madrid wanted to hire him for a while. So he's of that calibre of coach. And yeah, he won a couple of trophies at PSG. It doesn't mean much though. But to lift silverware in England at what he would see as the beginning of his Chelsea project, he would hope his Chelsea reign, like tenure, be a long, successful project manager, he would hope. And then you could be like, well, despite the turbulence, Chelsea have been better this season. Now, a lot of Chelsea fans are upset and frustrated, understandably. I was listening to the London is Blue podcast, friends of mine, the American guys, really good podcast, and they were going through the stats comparatively from Chelsea last season to this season. We're better in every single metric. Chelsea are just, undisputably much better in terms of how they play football this season. But you want to climb the table, but a trophy, and if you win the League Cup, you automatically qualify for the Europa Conference, so the pressure's off you a little bit in the league. Yes, the money's not great for conference, but the kit sponsors will be happy because you're playing more games in Europe with different eyes on you. The club will be happy because you get much more match day revenue from Stamford Bridge nights, which is important. Do you see what I mean? So it is important to play the extra games, ultimately. And if Chelsea have got young players coming through and Pochettino wants to see them in, should he still be the Chelsea manager, he would like to see them in the first team. It's just a competitive atmosphere, and it's important that Chelsea are playing twice a week again, I think, personally. So, and we've never won the Conference League. I know it's lame and it's a new trophy, but we sing we've won it all. If we qualify for it and win it, we absolutely have won it all. And then, we're ahead of Man City. We've won more trophies than them. So, could always hold that over them. Who needs a treble when you got the Conference League game? So, yeah, look, it's important. It will be massive. It will be possibly a really good platform to propel us to the rest of the season, to go into the FA Cup, try and beat Villa, to try and get into the top 6 and qualify for Europa League. Of course, if you win the FA Cup, you qualify for the Europa League. So Chelsea need to become a really strong cup team, but we need to get past Middlesbrough. So a couple of minutes on, if we don't win this game or don't qualify, so say we draw this game, we won't qualify, it will be awful. The headlines have been, written already. It would be really, really bad. I don't think Pochettino would get sacked, but the mood with Chelsea fans will be absolutely dismal, including myself. You've just got to beat a mid-table championship team at home. Because it's a semi-final as well, you can't even view it as like a really early round where you have these embarrassments, like giant killings, banana skins, do you know what I mean? Because they're early doors in the competition and your head's elsewhere. No, it's a semi-final. You take it seriously. You have to be 1000% focused, and there's therefore no excuses. So that'll be fun if we lose, right? I mean, freaking hell, the opposition fans will be having the best time of their lives, as they should be, by the way, if we lose that game. So it's really, really tough. But yeah, it won't necessarily represent, it will be another tick in the bad box, trust me, on Pochettino's 2 columns, even for the ownership as well. I think it would take a really, really bad turn of events for Chelsea to sack Pochettino this season. I think it would have to look like the team's falling apart in the league and not playing for the manager anymore. And, as previously stated, the numbers dictate Chelsea are technically playing better in a lot of ways. So we'll have to see. It's just such an intriguing game, isn't it? Because if you win, it's so good. And if you lose, it's so bad. Because it's not just like we're in a semi-final. Say we're in a semi-final against Liverpool at Fulham. If you lose, you're like, okay, we put up a good fight. We are off Liverpool at the moment, whatever. But it would be so bad. So the prize is the same, but the loss is way worse in this instance. I do think we'll win though, but I will of course do a complete breakdown match reaction here on the channel after full time. It won't be in the studio like this. It will be in my living room, because it's more of like a conversational format and it's easier and quicker to get out, especially after the evening games. I find that's the best way. Anyway, let me know what you think. Comment down below. Thanks for joining me today. And yeah, keep it locked, man. Turn the bell on when you subscribe, because I'd love to see you guys back here. Alright, peace.